Hola. Good afternoon, everybody. Here we go. Noon Report Live. Helwan. I like that. Hi, Joanna. There's Wink Hawkins checking in. There's Crystal. Folks, it's going to be a good day when we have Edgewood royalty. Hi there, Cindy. Folks, we're going to give you the latest. We are live on the radio. One momento. 1 minute. 1 minute. And then we're good to go with the Tuesday show, bring you up to speed on everything that is happening. Yes, that's exactly right, JR. All right. Everybody set. 1 minute. 1 minute to our crew. Behind me, of course, the Den of Thieves. We're just waiting for our cue. Ridiculous. Well, at 12:06, good afternoon on this Tuesday. You're listening to the John depetro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Folks, you can always listen online at our website, depetro.com, as we come on the air. Behind me, good afternoon to everybody, excuse me, tuning in, part of our live simulcast. This is the Noon Report Live on Facebook. Behind me, you see, of course, that building should be identifiable as the one and only, the Den of Thieves, as we call it, Smith Hill, the Rhode Island State House. Folks, this portion of the John depetro Show on this Tuesday, and remarkable news that is happening, continues to happen, and but this portion of the program is brought to you by Falcon Pest Service. Now remember, this time of year, in the next few months, this is where, whether it's residential or commercial, you're going to be dealing with pests. Now, what do you do about it? Don't hide it. Don't pretend it's not there. What are we talking about? Termites, bed bugs, ants, roaches, sometimes mice, rats, mosquitoes. It could be one time they come out. It could be every month. It could be quarterly service or year-round protection. Falcon, think of the Falcon, boom, swooping in. Falcon Pest Services, serving Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Call today, free quote, 401-739-1322. 401-739-1322. Look for them on Facebook and also online at falconpestservice.com. Folks, as always, visit the website, depetro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. First of all, I want to start off. The shooting in Nashville happened yesterday, and we were covering it in real time. Now, earlier, I recorded a conversation with Donna Perry, who has tremendous experience in both politics and media. And when we had the conversation, that was my mistake. I was going off the information they initially had put out. So I've heard from many people. I'm well aware now. Now we have, and by the way, I don't want to get too much in the weeds on that, but I'll acknowledge, yes, if you were listening last hour, I was still saying some of the things they were saying in real time. Since then, we've learned a lot more. Juan made the error, my mistake, but by and large, we try to keep it right there, and that can be challenging when you're dealing with a story that's fluid and happening in real time. Well, we've learned now. Initially, they said they left a door unlocked. Well, we've learned now, and if you've seen the footage, and I want to, I'm not sure if people are going to fully appreciate the way I do the Nashville Police Department. You want to talk about transparency and bravery and heroics. Wow. That, if you have not seen it, that footage it's not only remarkable, and what I marvel at is how fast they put it out, how quickly they put it out. There wasn't going to the mattress and hiding it. And I say that, and I put out something on another platform on Twitter saying, boy, you would never mistake some of the Rhode Island law enforcement with Nashville. Nashville released the footage of the shooter entering the school. And then if you have not seen it, that is, the word hero is tossed around a lot. And as many of you know, where I have been alone in local media has been my support for law enforcement. And much to the chagrin of, whether it be Black Lives Matter or the ATV riders, or there is a concerted effort amongst us, and really the Democrat Party, to degrade the police, defund the police, as Senator Tara Mack says, abolish the police, leading to total chaos and anarchy. I don't think enough is brought out that really is the position of the Democrat Party, but the Nashville Police Department, the word hero is tossed around a lot. The bravery of those officers, SWAT team, in military-style training. And let me also, there has been a lot of pushback on law enforcement, and especially because of the fact that they've upgraded a lot of their equipment and they changed the way they do things. And I, as many of you know, I attended those riots in downtown Providence with why are you in riot gear? I don't see no riot here, they used to chant, when it actually was a riot. And all members of law enforcement and their loved ones and family and friends, and what they were put through, what you see in that with those Nashville police officers is remarkable. Now, granted, selfishly, I am just so amazed at how quickly they put out the information. Yesterday, they were holding press briefings. Here's what we know. Listen, it's fluid. USA Today was going after them because they misgendered the shooter. As ridiculous as that is. It was a girl who was transitioning to be a boy and started using male pronouns, and USA Today was going after the police for saying it was a female. Listen, initially they did say a female, a teenage girl. They did say that. And they were wrong. So, but it was happening like in real time. But that should never discourage police, by the way. The body cam footage of the Nashville police going in and taking out that shooter is a sight to behold. It is remarkable heroism. And a lot of our local law enforcement folks, do I really have to get on the list? I'm standing outside a homicide in Pawtucket where a young man killed his grandfather with a knife. Chief of police and the brass of Pawtucket police show up and they leave. No comment to the media, no comment. You're really talking to the public at large. I did follow up with the mayor's office. I expressed my displeasure. I still haven't heard back on their policy that they don't comment when someone's murdered in a neighborhood. I don't know if we have to go into Carbuncle Pond in Coventry, where the state police still have not released the name of the victim. I mean, of course it makes it. You know what? It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's no explanation for it. The police going in and the manner, rifle first, and the manner, I'm going to play some of the body cam audio of that, is just remarkable. And then closer to home, but just a transgender killer targets Christian school. Folks, why is it okay for the progressive left, like the Tara Macks, and like some of those, the atheists, Uncle Atheist, and a lot of the Democrats of the Rhode Island State House, they're anti-private school. They're anti-religion. They want everyone into the government schools. That's why they carry the water for the teachers union. Look at how they've gone after Nicole Solis, right? I was communicating with Nicole, and I mentioned last fall I was at William Hall Library, when the Reverend Donnie Anderson, because he grew his hair out long, he was named the head or the spokesperson, whatever it is, of the Women's Progressive Caucus. He's like almost 70s, in his 60s. Him standing there with long hair, I'm now a woman because I grew my hair long, and screaming, if a man wants to be a woman, it's totally normal. Yeah, keep saying that. You know, we don't know. We're going to learn a lot about this shooter. You think of different school districts, whether it's Providence or certainly North Kingstown. North Kingstown, to me, tops the list simply because of, you even have members of the school committee trying to say to those boys, it's perfectly normal if you're attracted to a man who's touching your private parts in a closet. And those poor kids with the naked fat coach saying, I wasn't stimulated by it. I wasn't no, it's perfectly normal. No. First of all, time out. There was nothing normal that those kids had to get naked in the closet. Like, they're on such a mission. If you are 14 years old and you're naked in a closet, it's perfectly, this is the school committee people, the progressives, it's perfectly normal that you would then be, stimulated by a man touching your, no, excuse me. What is that? It wasn't normal. They were forced to go through that. Donnie Anderson, trans rights are human rights. You know, the fact I want to be a woman is totally normal. Well, maybe it's not. And what about the regret? Like, that is so cruel, what goes on in the public schools. They don't tell the parents. In the public schools, where you have these teacher union people, the real progressives, you know, it's very prevalent in the Providence schools. If you're, and what do they say to the 13 or 14-year-old boy or girl? The only reason you're depressed is because you were born the wrong gender. You should really think about transitioning. Like, what a horrible thing to say to a young child. And notice no one's fired. It's all accepted. They're very loud. I mean, look at what happened with the Republican legislator at the Rhode Island State House for sarcastically, and that's what it was, asking a question. Kicked off a committee, tossed out, how dare you, right? The magic word, as Justin Katz was mentioning, nothing gives more power to that crowd than the phrase, I'm offended. Nashville shooter, ex-student with detailed plan to kill. Do we really need to hear the manifesto? I'm planning to die today. He, she, sent to someone. Resentment may have fueled attack. And the Nashville police releasing that body cam footage. Folks, but you see it readily apparent. Bishop Tobin can't post anything on the Democrat Party, and especially here in Rhode Island. They're so hostile to organized religion. They're brutal. And that representative that did the whole, I'm sorry, you're offended? I don't know, I'm talking about pedophiles. You're offended. Are you a pedophile? Why would you be offended if I'm talking about pedophiles? Right? What he then went through and how they go after and absolutely terrorize and threaten. They are sick individuals in need of a lot of help. And so it's only, I was saying this yesterday, look how USA Today was caught up on, well, the police misgendered because it was a girl transitioning to a boy, and they were saying it was a young woman when they should have been, like, what are you exactly are you talking about? But look at, it's the public schools. This is not going on, as someone told me. This doesn't go on at Bayview. This doesn't go on at LaSalle Academy. There is this odd dynamic within the public schools that is run by the progressives, that they're so hell-bent intent on, if you're unhappy, I'll bet you'd be happier if you were a boy. Or I bet you'd be, you know what your problem is? You'd be much happier as a girl. To say that to a 12, 13-year-old, even younger sometimes, child. But don't worry, we're not going to tell your parents. You know, you're going to be really popular. They did that with a kid that was a classical, right? Like, you are going to be so happy once you transition to being a girl. Maybe it was just a confused young man. Or on top of that, you know, something no one talks about, maybe it's someone who would be very happy as a gay young man. But no, you must transition. Like the way they're adamant about it. And of course it's going to cause confusion. It makes their life seem they're lost. They're just lost. And you have this look at what is happening. And I'll say this. I don't believe the Republican Party locally does enough. And I hope that Joe Powers is I hope he's more aggressive than I liked Chairwoman Cianci. I got along with Chairwoman Sue Cianci. But there was no question in my mind she was terrified of like the Black Lives Matter crowd, terrified of the Tierra Mac crowd, terrified of these socialist progressives where they wouldn't even engage. And what do they preach? I think of, and you also have, there are members of the media, right? Pork Boy's producer, the rest of them. Counselors, not cops. Get the police out of the schools. And look what the police are doing to these kids. And blah, blah, blah. That shooter in Nashville chose that school because it seemed a softer target than the other school that had more security. Schools need to get up to speed. And it is true, that shooter shot her way through. And she was also, you know, there's many different facets to what happened in Nashville. Was because another part of that is it's very difficult if you have someone willing to, for lack of a better phrase, but die for the cause, right? We learned that on 9/11. If someone is willing to get into an airplane, hijack it, and then crash it into a building, that's completely different than someone that is planning an escape route. You have people that all the time, all over the world, commit suicide by cop, and it's terrible. They purposely point a gun at the police, knowing the police will then shoot them. So with this particular person, she seemed hell-bent. She even put it, this is my day. Camouflage pants, and totally lost, totally confused. She was told by the progressive left and educators, you're going to be much happier as a boy. You just need to transition. You were born in the wrong body. Why couldn't she just be a gay young girl? I don't understand that. They were in such a mission. And I come back to the, you know, such a, and today, there are people that, it's the Black Lives Matter. It's the progressive crowd. Locally, you have, and there's different groups of them around the state. And they try to twist things. They're anti-religion. As Donna Perry was saying, they're also anti-American culture. They think this is the same crowd. America's a racist country, and religion is bad. And much like when I thought they were all cheering, they were so proud of themselves when they had the protests at Central and Classical, and the progressive media is there cheering them on. Counselors, not cops. Get these cops out of the schools. You know, most normal people feel it's the opposite. Schools really need to go to one way in, one way out. I know it's not that convenient for kids. And I recognize there's challenges in an event of a fire. But when's the last time you really heard about a fire inside of a school? Right? When's the last time you heard about that? When's the last time there was a fire at a school in Rhode Island? I can't. I can't recall. I mean, a real fire burning. I never fully understood that. And again, I attended St. Paul's School. It was made of brick. We did all the fire drills and everything. Schools need to revamp. And I don't know if that individual yesterday, Aiden, Audrey, I don't know if that individual, we've already learned that this person, this trans person, didn't go to the other school because of the type of security. So shame on the progressive left. Shame on Black Lives Matter and all their allies in the media. That whole mission, counselors not cops, get these cops out of the school. The police are there to protect the students. What type of individual goes in and kills 3 9-year-olds? And if not for those Nashville police, they were children. That was K through, they were much younger children. There was a classroom that a teacher with kindergarten children, they locked the door and hid in the closet, and the shooter couldn't get into that classroom. This thing could have been so much worse. And those police, that body cam video, that is what it is all about. Right? The Nashville police, rifle first going into the room, and the way they execute. And you won't notice what frustrates me, folks, on this, and I'm going to touch on this situation at the ATV riders. There's no accountability, and it's such lies that they put out there. I'm going to touch on that because there was an incident Sunday that happened that is now, kind of getting into the news a little bit that I'm going to talk about. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show, and it's brought to you by Propane Plus. Hey, listen, for all your propane needs, call Propane Plus today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus, heating and cooling, serving Rhode Island and Massachusetts. If you use propane, I implore you, I request, I beg you to call Propane Plus. This is the type of company you want to do business with, and they have a very user-friendly website. It's propaneplus.com, residential or commercial, always there for you, Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209, or Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. I will get back to the Nashville shooting in just a moment, but this story, and I played it earlier, that Channel 12 had. Now, those of you that watch when I do the live stream, so Wednesday night, we were in Cranston at that fatal crash. And then Friday night, they were having a vigil where the crash was from Wednesday night. 2 lives lost. The individual, the young people, I believe the ages 20 and 21. It's my understanding he had just gotten this motocross bike. And those bikes don't necessarily have a light on them. But got the bike, riding with no helmets, had no motorcycle license. The bike was unregistered, weaving in and out of traffic, and then slammed into a woman who was taking a left turn, and then the 2 of them died. Now on Sunday, let me back up just for a second. So Friday night, if you saw it, if you haven't seen the footage, I was the only member of the media that was out there. They're very aggressive, and there they were. They're not just riding around. They're not kids. Now, the one from the other night was, granted, 21, but most of the time, I've covered this as extensively as anyone. Most of the time, when they arrest them and catch them, they're in their mid to late 20s. But there has to be a zero tolerance on this. But you think of the audacity. So Providence Police, this was late Sunday. They saw and were patrolling and saw somebody go down somewhere with one of those bikes. And then when they followed them, there were 30 of them there. So they all scatter. But one of them couldn't kickstart his bike for whatever reason. He was low on gas, maybe he had flooded it, or maybe whatever reason. So he drops the bike as the police coming after him. They chase, they catch him, and he's fighting with the police. Not only were they wrestling him to the ground, but he seemingly was trying to get a weapon that he had on him. Not only did he resist arrest, kept one of his arms pinned under his body, because then they're wondering, is he reaching for a gun or a knife? So as they're trying to arrest him, subdue him, what happens? Well, then the other ATV riders come back. And I'm not going to argue. Listen, these are primarily bikes. They're supposed to be all-terrain vehicles. They're not supposed to be on the city streets. This is not a matter of, and they're not looking for, they should build them. That's ludicrous. Then in Pawtucket, approach the mayor. Since there's not going to be a soccer stadium, build it. But they don't want to do that. They like riding as a pack around on the streets. It's fun to them. Now, Friday night, I was following, there is a difference. Some of them are on motorcycles. I don't proclaim to know the exact difference. I know if you see my footage from Friday night, one of them, there's 3 wheels to it. So, and they do the wheelies and the whole thing. So, as the police are trying to subdue this individual, the 30 ATV, they start riding and challenging and taunting the police. Let them, like they're going to go after them, and revving the engines and coming very close to them. So much that one of the Providence police officers actually had to draw his weapon. Now, that's a serious situation. And let me tell you about the ATV riders. These are not the way some people depict it. Anyone that says they should find them a place off-road for these poor kids, then they're not, number one, they're not young, as I've already established. They don't want that. They want to ride on the city streets. You could build the nicest off-road ATV park, and they're still going to ride on the city streets. Providence has to adopt a zero-tolerance policy on this. Now, anyone, and I know we have a lot of law enforcement and even former law enforcement that watch and listen to this program know, now, most of the time, you do not draw your weapon unless you're going to use your weapon. But that's how serious it was, that he had to back them off. Now, I know, and I've told you this, and it's downplayed in the media. Most of them carry weapons, and it could be they carry a pipe, they carry knives, some of them carry guns, some of them carry small baseball bats, but most of the time. So the fact that Providence police had to pull their weapon, like, I am ready to shoot one of you. Now, can you even imagine what that would have spiraled into? But look at the audacity and the brazenness of this crowd. Now, Friday night, when I was there in Cranston, some of the individuals that were there, as the family was doing the vigil, they were yelling at the police, "You guys did this to him." Totally erroneous. They don't care what the facts are. You go back to Jamal Gonzalez. When Black Lives Matter, they quickly put it out that police had rammed him into the wall, and it was a complete fabrication and lie. And then there's no accountability from the progressives in the media, the progressive activists. But look they refuse to accept that one of their own made a mistake, was driving recklessly, acting irresponsible, and slammed his bike into an SUV, killing himself and his passenger. They refuse to accept that. So they start flipping it on police. You guys, there was no police chasing. There were witnesses calling it in. So, but look at this. In 1 week, Wednesday night was the fatal crash. Friday night, they were back in Cranston. And then Sunday night, 25 to 30 of them surrounding Providence police, where then they even had to pull their weapon. And they are backed 100% by the progressives. Progressives don't, this is another part of this, and we talk about this sometimes. Do you notice They have no concern for quality of life. I've said that. How about Kat Kerwin, that city council person? Hey, too bad. It's a city. There's going to be loud music till 3 a.m. No, we don't care. What was her thing? Get blanket over it. They don't care about that. They don't care about the disruption. They don't care that people say, hey, they surrounded me, as one woman sent me a message on Friday night. And then if you saw it, they were even surrounding my vehicle on Friday night. But the progressives, they don't care about quality of life. They don't care there are people living under the underpass. They don't care there are people sleeping on sidewalks. They thrive on anarchy. They don't care there are panhandlers, homeless, passed out on sidewalks, passed out on benches, ATVs roaming the streets, weaving in and out of traffic, revving their engines, chasing people down that they feel cut them off. They tug and want to undermine. The progressives in at least Rhode Island completely want to undermine the fabrics of society. They're anti-law enforcement. They're anti really well-performing schools. They actually are. And their mantra, we have to go after the police. Like of all the organizations you could target, but they want to go after the police. But this Mayor Smiley right now, you have a new mayor and you also have a new police chief. And they're both being tested. Because this weekend is April. We're not even, the next few months. Is this something they have to worry about every time it's nice out? That these thugs are going to be out there, weaving in and out of traffic, causing, it's dangerous for them. As you saw on Wednesday night. They're not properly equipped. But there's never accountability on that stuff. There's never accountability on those things. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show. Now, for those, if you are listening right now on this Tuesday, and you'd like to lose some weight, and you should lose weight. It's not, in this day and age, there's no reason to be obese. It leads to health complications. It leads to an early death. Take control of your life. See rapid, aggressive weight loss that will last a lifetime. And what we're talking about is unique health. Instead of wasting, people get burned out. I'm going to get a trainer, and I'm going to go to the gym once a week, and then they don't. And then they feel they have to change all these different things, and then they give up. How many people that joined gyms, whatever you want to call them, health clubs in January are still going? It's the New Year's resolution crowd, and you don't see them after February. Instead, it's not a diet change, it's a lifestyle change. Unique health. Remember, 20 pounds in 10 days. Extreme weight loss. Watch those pounds fall off. It's a lifestyle change. And once you get rid of that unnecessary, unwanted weight, your, in general, health improves. A lot of people don't like to go exercise and work out, or even for a walk, because it's so exhausting, because they're so out of shape. It just starts with that initial sustainable weight loss. You can call right now, be part of a free seminar. Sandra is waiting to talk to you. 401-269-9155. I shared their Facebook page on our Facebook page. Folks, this is regardless of age, men, women. Make the decision. How many people, do you realize how your life could improve if you could take off 40 pounds? If you could take off 50 pounds or more, even 30 pounds? How about the people consistently carrying around 25 extra pounds, and then it becomes 30 pounds? And then if something happens, it goes even higher than that. Call right now, take advantage, be part of this free seminar. 401-269-9155, Unique Health. They're located right in Warwick, right across from the courthouse. Unique Health and Coaching, and their before and afters are amazing. So 20 pounds in 10 days. You're going to look good for Easter. Call right now, 401-269-9155. Take advantage of the free seminar. Well, folks, good afternoon. right now at 12:40. This the ATV situation, and I want to just stay on this for just a moment because it emphasizes what I talk about. If they're not afraid, if you have a group of them and they're going to, something's going to happen. If they're not afraid to approach and in a menacing manner be going after two police officers, do you think they would hesitate for someone that confronts them or honks the horn or anything like that? Look at this headline. State police say a fleeing driver dragged a trooper about 100 feet in Fall River. Disgraceful. This is what the police have to deal with. Group of ATV riders threatened officers during a traffic stop. The brazenness of it is just disgraceful. Now, I know right now in Massachusetts, they're dealing with these swatting calls. Swatting calls reported in eastern Massachusetts communities. It's a major problem. And I put the press release from the state police. They found it was from the same phone number, and it's people calling and reporting. Similar calls were reported in Rhode Island on Monday. This is, to me, this is like a form of terrorism. They all appear to be hoaxes. Foxborough police, the high school was placed on lockdown. You know, it's just, it's disruptive. It's frightening. North Attleboro police are dealing with it, I noticed. Let alone yesterday and today, this is dealing in the aftermath of what happened in Nashville. I mean, that adds another level to it. But everyone is talking about it. Something needs to be done. Schools need to be reformed. Security is paramount. And many times, the presence of police act as a deterrent. Now, many of you know, and again, folks, good afternoon. At 12:41, you're listening to the John DePetro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I'm going to do there's a lot of sound. I recognize President Trump was on with Hannity last night. I'm going to play some of that. Seemed to be pretty good in-depth interview. There's also, though, you see why he is attacking, and he is, make no mistake about it, attacking Governor DeSantis because the polls are deceiving. DeSantis is leading in Iowa. He hasn't even declared for president yet. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is leading in Iowa. He's beating President Trump in Iowa, and they're neck and neck in New Hampshire. So if the election, and again, DeSantis hasn't even announced yet, but can you imagine if DeSantis wins the Iowa caucus, then wins the New Hampshire primary? Then it becomes Nevada caucus and South Carolina. If he could sweep all four, President Trump would be 0 for 4. It's very possible, but we're going to talk about it next hour. And I fully get some of the Trump people, they don't like to hear any of it. Nope. Don't say anything. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything negative, blah, blah, blah. You're not dealing in reality. You're not dealing in reality. Right now, I don't know if he would. These national polls don't mean anything. It's all the state-by-state polls. It's all the state-by-state polls that mean something. And right now, in Iowa and New Hampshire, it tells a very different story. I'm not saying it can't change. I'm not saying it can't turn around. But these national polls that show President Trump like way ahead of the pack, it's meaningless. All that matters is then how you perform in the individual states. And we are going to talk about that and have some good sound on that for next hour. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show is brought to you by AtMed Urgent Care. Now remember, when you need urgent care, they have doctors and nurses. They're open 7 days a week, 1524 Atwood Avenue in Johnston, and also 5750 Post Road, East Greenwich, AtMed Urgent Care. If you want to and choose to go to an emergency room where then you're going to wait 6 or 7 hours, it's your choice. But AtMed Urgent Care, I've been to both locations. They have seen me in less than an hour. Occupational medical services available at both locations. They also do pre-employment physicals, DOT exams, drug testing. If you're in a vehicle accident, AtMed Urgent Care. That's where you want to go. And again, 2 locations, 1524 Atwood Avenue in Johnston and the Atwood Medical Center at 5750 Post Road, East Greenwich. It's AtMed Urgent Care. So, but just getting back to the latest now, we are learning more about this Nashville shooter. If you haven't seen it, the actions of the Nashville police, that body cam footage, of which, and again, admittedly, I am so impressed on that they released it so rapidly. And I've talked about, now, Cranston police. Police are a deterrent. Many of you see, we even have a running joke that when I ride with Cranston police, seemingly the crime rate goes down. Cranston police patrol their city, and their presence acts as a deterrent in doing the job. People are hesitant to break the law if, in fact, you have a strong police presence. Now, and on top of that, listen, there are very good police departments in our area. I think some of them could be a little more transparent, but by and large, I think Chief Oates runs a very good department with the officers in Woonsocket. There's very good, make no mistake about it. I know a number of the Pawtucket police officers. They are dealing with some difficult situations. Providence has some very good police officers. Warwick has some good police officers. Rhode Island has. State police, it's my opinion, they could be a little more transparent. But by and large, state police do a good job. But that body cam footage should be in some way shown to in the anti-police. Now, they won't do it, but the anti-police movement, students should see and be shown what happened to that shooter in Nashville. That obviously did not end well. That was also, though, someone with a death wish. I mean, which makes it even more disturbing and disgraceful and despicable. If that young person, 28-year-old, she, it was a girl, going after, the police misgendered her. She was transitioning to a boy, whatever. If the shooter wanted to take their own life, then that is sad. And that would be very tragic for their friends and family to have to deal with that. There's a good scene in the show Yellowstone where John Dutton says to Jamie who I believe was going to maybe take his own life. There's a very good scene there where Kevin Costner says, if you do that, it erases everything you've ever done. And this is the only thing people will remember you by. Anything you've done or accomplished, that's the only thing they're going to remember you by. And it is true. Whenever you see a Robin Williams film, the first thing you think about is not that, wow, look how funny and talented he is. The first thing you think about is that the guy took his own life. Same thing with a Nirvana song and Kurt Cobain. I haven't seen the stuff with Twitch from Ellen, but my point is that is true. But if that shooter was so unhappy that the only way out for her was to take her own life, as tragic and sad as that is, and sadly it's going on all the time, but to go to a school and shoot 3 9-year-olds and then take the life of the 3 adults working at that school is just, it's unrelatable. I don't think we should hide it. The body cam footage, the bravery of those police going in, taking control of the situation, there was no more time for talk. So I am curious just to see. I'm willing to bet, I already know the answer to this, but every once in a while, just for a laugh, I'd like to go on. There's the Tierra Mac Twitter page. And what does she talk about? 150 mass shootings in the U.S. since January. If I had taken a day off work every time to grieve each shooting, I would not have worked a single day this year. Anti-NRA. NRA does this. NRA does that. Non-stop. Nothing about the heroics of those police. Nothing about, gee, maybe we should cool it. On their idea of let's just take away every gun is ridiculous. Think of the firepower that shooter was carrying in that school. That is someone looking to do massive, massive damage. But the bravery of the police.
First floor. Hold there, y'all. Somebody hold there. Hit that door. Rifle first. Blue, go.
Calm, in control,
Move.
tactically moving through the school.
I'm with you. Go away.
They released the footage, body cam footage.
Go. Hit that stair. Hit the stairs. Go. Downstairs. Go. Keep pushing. Go. Shots fired. Move.
Wow.
Right. Push an LPV up. Go right.
Still going. Wow.
Move. Watch out. Stop moving. Watch left. Suspect down.
I mean, folks, wow. Calm, measured, tactical. Totally in control. That is a result of discipline. That is a result of training. The shooter is firing at them, and they keep moving forward, pressing on. They find someone down. Keep pushing through. Complete heroes. And yet police still remain under attack. The progressives in the Democrat Party defund the police. Kamala Harris, defund the police. Biden, Elizabeth Warren, defund the police. Locally, the Democrat Party of Rhode Island, it's time to abolish the police. They're so sick. They want absolute chaos. And they're treated with kid gloves by our media. They shouldn't. Tierra Mack, the whole crew of them, David Morales, Enrique Sanchez, Black Lives Matter, the whole thing. Counselors, not cops. Get the cops out of the school. They're so pathetic. They are anti-American. They're anti-value. They have no values. They are void of values. They stand for nothing. They represent anarchy. And what is so frightening is Governor McKee is petrified of them. Governor McKee jumps at their every whim. Absolutely disgraceful. And never forget, and I'm going to repost it, I was there September of 2020 when Governor McKee spoke at an anti-police rally. I was there. I was the only media there. He spoke. He was lieutenant governor at the time. September of 2020, Lieutenant Governor McKee spoke at an anti-police gathering. I'm going to repost it, where it was filthy, it was violent, it was disrespectful, it was filled with lies. The speakers were saying, like, take out the cops. Absolutely appalling. And he stands up and starts speaking. That's who he is, right? Hang up on that, Eva. That's who he is. Wow. the bravery of those Nashville police. What a police force. Now, folks, again, I fully believe we have law enforcement in our area, both Mass and Rhode Island, that would act according like that. They need support. They need thanks. And they're all having trouble recruiting, by the way. And the epicenter is New York City, where they have done so much damage. And this mayor is such a disgrace. And what they allow to happen. Now, there should be stronger words. Mayor Smiley's going to handle it the way he wants. He says they're going to have a new strategy. He also came out and defended the Providence police, by the way. And shouldn't be lost, right? That he did come out and defend his officers who need to be defended in that manner. But look at the way the local media and the progressives, look at the way they went after that Officer Lugo, who was defending himself last June at that abortion rally, right? And look at the way the media quickly spliced together a video, totally spliced it slow motion and played around with it to make it look like he was hitting that woman, which then was proven in court. He didn't even hit her, really. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro Show is brought to you by, now listen, Ameriprise Financial. For over 125 years, Ameriprise Financial has provided advice, clients' unique goals, how millions of Americans retire on their terms. Put the strength of a leader in retirement planning to work for you. Personal one-on-one relationship. Our guy, Tom Bryan, I am offering you on this Tuesday an opportunity, free consultation, Tom Bryan, Ameriprise Financial. Call him today, 401-434-1510. Office is located at 400 Massasoit Avenue in East Providence. And not only that, it's not just retirement. I want to remind people, it could be, maybe you're thinking of buying a ski house or a beach house, major purchase planning, maybe it's education planning. He can also help you. A lot of people have questions about long-term care coverage. Tom Bryan and Ameriprise. Call today, free consultation, 401-434-1510. Just call that number. Say, I would like to take advantage of the free consultation, free appointment that Juan is offering. 401-434-1510. Folks, at 12:57, boy, that video. And I admit, for selfish reasons, what I am just so impressed upon is that the Nashville police released that less than 24 hours after the shooting. Less than that. And they show she was firing at them. Whatever. The shooter, he, she. Whatever pronouns you want to use. The individual, the killer, who had just killed 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults and was going for more. They stopped it. The police did. They risked their lives. You can't do that unless people have your back. Because otherwise, what's the point? You know what? I hate to think, but you watch in our area, whether it be Massachusetts or Rhode Island, police would be second guessed. You can already see some of it online. Oh, they just shot because she's trans. They didn't even give her a chance to surrender. Oh, they just shot. Listen, they didn't even know who they were dealing with. That is all lies. For some of the progressives and socialists, oh yeah, they shot and killed her because she's transgender. They didn't know who they were dealing with. There was someone in camouflage pants with a baseball cap, a bulletproof vest, some high-powered weapons, who had just killed 6 people. And the 3 9-year-olds, again, I think if that footage was shown, it would change the dynamic. If some of the footage of what happens and what these children look like when a 9-year-old is shot by that type of weapon. You saw them shooting through the glass. She shot through the doors. Now, the individuals at the other school that she looked at, Whoever decided to put in the security measures there saved lives. Those Nashville police saved lives. There's the difference. So all this talk that is anti-police and all these motions at the Rhode Island State House and everything else, it's really disgraceful. Folks, it's John DePetro. We will be doing Facebook Live later. Right now, we're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. Next hour is radio only. You can listen AM 1380, 99.9 FM, or listen online at the website, depetro.com. We're back on the other side after the 1 o'clock news.